New poll out from Quinnipiac about Donald Trump. It's got some really bad news for him. It's got a little bit of good news for him, which I find to be super frustrating. We'll get to that in a second. And then it ends with disaster. So it's a fun roller coaster ride. Let's go on that ride. So first, easy peasy. First question is, do you approve of him or don't you? And the answer is a resounding no, we do not. 55 to 40, Americans disapprove of Donald Trump. From time to time, Donald Trump brags about this because he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing great, my approval numbers are up. And they did go up to, one poll at one time had him at 45%. That's really bad. You're supposed to be above 50%, and if you're below 50%, it's underwater, and that means your presidency is heading in the wrong direction. But for Trump, it was never headed in the right direction. But he had gone into some of the polls into the low 40s, and he started to high step, which is hilarious, right? But now he's back down to 40, and he's gonna keep on going down. He's been lower, and he will be lower. But understand the context, because everybody thinks the regular rules of politics and the world have been suspended since Donald Trump is president, and that the president doesn't have to be popular, and that it won't hurt his party, and it won't hurt him if he's going up for re-election. Yes, it will. Math still exists. He was just running against an incredibly unpopular candidate last time. These are disastrous numbers. All right, but it gets way worse. So, is he honest? No, 58 to 38% say he is not honest. That's a gigantic difference and obviously true. That number should be way higher, by the way. I mean, that 38%. Have you ever heard Donald Trump? But still, good number overall for people who are rational. 55 to 43 say he does not have good leadership skills. Every one of these numbers should be near 100%, but yes, overall good. Most people get it. He's not a good manager. He's an idiot. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. Hold for that number, but they don't think he's a good manager, okay? 55 to 43 say that he does not care about the average American. Tell you, man, for any president, these are terrible numbers. 62 to 34 don't believe him when he say he's a very stable genius. They say he is not level-headed. 62 to 34. Also not a good sign for the president of the United States and the commander-in-chief if by almost a 30-point margin the country thinks you are not level-headed or stable, let alone a genius. But again, hold for that depressing fact on what people think of his intelligence. Okay, 60 to 37% say he does not share their values. Disaster on top of disaster. One last one of the disastrous sort before we get to the worst of the worst and the best of the best. 62 to 36 say he does not provide the US with moral leadership. To which I say, of course he doesn't. What part of Donald Trump is moral? Are you kidding me? And even his own supporters. Now, a lot of them, that 36% is pretty much immovable. Like, oh, Donald Trump is super moral. On one planet, but it doesn't matter because overwhelming majority of the country say, no, he does not provide moral leadership. That's preposterous. Even some of his own supporters go, I support him, but he does not provide moral leadership. Okay, now here's the two depressing ones. 63 to 32% say that he is a strong person. Oh, Democrats, you're the worst. Now, why do you think Donald Trump keeps talking about how great he is? You know, I have the best words. In fact, of course, legendarily,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
I'm like a smart person. He put out a tweet saying, I'm a very stable genius. There's two things that I'm really good at in life. One is being mentally stable. Who says that? Only a lunatic says that. If someone said that to you at a bar, you would run for your life. Hey, how you doing? Did you know one of the top two qualities I have is that I'm very mentally stable? No one would stay at the bar, right? He's the president. Anyway, and his second great quality he claimed was that he was really smart. Now, why does a person act out like that? Because they're deeply insecure. He never makes fun of himself. He's never self-effacing because he's afraid that people might find out it's true. He does nothing but insane bragging because he's deeply insecure. You know why? Because he's not actually strong. And the minute anyone strong shows up, he cowers like every bully there is. But the Democrats are so pathetically weak that the American people have him at 31% advantage on strong person. And by the way, don't get me wrong, I get why. He does bully people and he does come out and is super aggressive. So I'm not shocked by that number? Of course I get it. I just can't stand the Democrats that they couldn't bring that number down. Let me add a Moss, okay? Now, the one that's really depressing, 57 to 39 say that he is in fact intelligent. Okay, forget the Democratic Party. They're the worst already. Those establishment people, Hillary Clinton, et cetera, they don't know how to fight them, right? But I despair of the American people that you listen to a guy who says,
I'm like a smart person.
And you think, oh yeah, because smart people go around all the time saying, I'm like a smart person. He said that 2 different times, and then he tweeted it. He wrote out, I'm like a smart person. To be fair, so did Einstein. No, he didn't. Einstein never said that because he was actually smart. How do you look at Donald Trump and think he's smart? And so the sickness that unfortunately has befallen this country is that if you're rich or pretending to be rich, people will say, oh, well, he must be strong, he must be smart. I mean, he's rich, he must be smart. He inherited $200 million from his dad. If you inherited $200 million from your dad, you would also have a lot of money. And what's frustrating is that people will be like, oh yeah, Bob, he's really smart, man. Did you see the way that his dad died and gave him the money? Trump bankrupted himself 6 times, which I'm pretty sure you wouldn't do if your dad gave you $200 million. But by a margin of nearly 20 points, 18 points, Americans think that he is intelligent. Oh, that is so sad. Now, I told you there'd be bad news for him, good news for him. We were through all that. Now comes the truly disastrous news for him. According to this poll, Quinnipiac poll, very respected organization, President Trump is racist. 49% of voters say, while 47% say that he is not racist. That's an unbelievable number. Now, if you're out there and you don't like Trump and you know all the things that he's done, Central Park 5, the birther conspiracy, the constant dehumanization of Latinos, Muslims, et cetera, you think that number should be higher. But look, guys, not everybody lives in your bubble or in your context or in your particular group, right? For a majority of Americans, or at least a strong plurality of Americans, for 49% of Americans to say that the president of the United States is racist, for most Americans, that's a very, very heavy word. And I think that we use it appropriately on Trump and on others who actually discriminate against people of different races. That's kind of the definition. But the average American is very reluctant to use that word. So for 49% to say, yes, the president is racist, that's amazing and disastrous for Trump. I mean, how do you vote for a guy if you think he's racist? If you think he's such a bad guy that he hates other people of other races? So this whole idea that, oh, Trump is above the laws of physics and math is simply not anywhere near true. This guy is deeply, deeply unpopular. And one last thing that's important for the country is that voters say by a margin of 55 to 39 that Trump has emboldened people who hold racist beliefs to express those beliefs publicly. That's a 14-point margin for Americans saying not only is the president racist, but whether I think he is one or not, he's definitely emboldening racists. So look, some folks might look at that and still go, yeah, I know, but if you're rich, my paycheck went up. If you're not, it didn't, but maybe one day it will. Or, yeah, he's racist, but so am I. And a lot of those people will vote for him. But I can't imagine that it's a huge percentage of those people that'll vote for him. So he starts out in a hole, if he's around in 2020, that is very hard to climb out of. If half the country thinks you're a racist, it's pretty hard to get elected. But on the other hand, probably a good number of those folks thought that even before the election. And the Democratic establishment found a way to lose to him anyway. I wonder how they poll on intelligent. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.